Yo fam, welcome to Let's Go with Nick Pags, the series that's intended to educate, motivate, and inspire you to create dynamic change in your life by challenging your regular ways of thinking and your automatic doing. The stuff that you're just doing because you're doing it and you're not really paying attention to it. This series wants to check on those, to ask you, can you be more, do more, and create more in your life? So I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for your time and attention. And if you digging it, please rate, subscribe, share, all the good things. And if you're not, please do not tell anybody about it. Keep it to yourself. You can also keep up with me on Instagram at NickPagsFit. I hope you enjoy the show. Let's go. What's up, fam? I just finished a ridiculously awesome podcast with the legend himself, Mr. Beau Whitman. Thanks for being on today, man. It was a phenomenal experience talking about his situation. He was just diagnosed with stage 3 testicular cancer. He kind of tells us a story on the lead up to that, what he's going through as he's going through the chemo process right now, his mindset, where the shift came in, how he's utilizing just incredible empowerment that he's kind of always had, but now he gets to put it to use on a whole new level. So hearing his story is incredible, but the conversation that we have today, I have goosebumps right now, man. It was such a powerful conversation. So sit back, enjoy this one. You're going to want a notebook and pen because there's just incredible nuggets in this discussion today. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, rate, pass it on to someone that you think needs it. That's what this is all about. Big shout out to Samsung for hosting us, and enjoy this episode, guys. And welcome back to another episode of Let's Go with your boy Nick Pags and a very special guest today. I feel like I say very special guest every time, but I think I only have very special people on the show, so I'm excited about it.
Makes me feel good.
Dude, we got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a challenge to keep it under an hour, but today's guest is my good friend, Mr. Beau Whitman. Clap it up for Beau Whitman.
What's up, guys?
Woo! Beau, thanks for being on the show, man.
Of course, man. I love being here. I love helping you out. I'm excited.
You excited, dude?
Yeah, I'm excited.
This is a big day. This is a big day.
Yeah.
So, me and Beau have been seeing a lot of each other the past few weeks, isn't that right?
Yeah, a lot.
We got a crazy story for you guys. It's going to start out really depressing. I will give you that. But the energy that this dude brings to this is pretty phenomenal. I'm so excited to talk about this. It's probably the deepest topic I've been able to talk about on this podcast. And I'm excited to just dive into it. Before we get going, though, I got to give so much love to where we're sitting right now. How beautiful is this studio?
Oh, it's beautiful.
I have an event here tomorrow with Angelo Grinseri, a Water and Words event live in the stage behind us. If you're watching, I don't even know if you can see it in that angle.
Yeah.
But
it's beautiful, though.
It's an amazing space. So, the space is Samsung 837. It's their space in meatpacking, and it's unbelievable. We're sitting in these cozy-ass chairs with these amazing mics in a soundproof studio. I kind of can't believe we made it. Hey, look, I made it. But here we are. So shout out to Samsung, and I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm reading my notes. On Insta, you can follow them at Samsung Mobile USA. On Facebook, at Samsung US, and on Twitter at Samsung Mobile US, hashtag Team Galaxy Squad, and hashtag Samsung Experience, and hashtag Nick Pags Fit, always. Here we are in the Samsung studio, baby. So, Beau, I want to get started. Enough talking, me talking. I want to hear your story. Beau's been going through some stuff, so I'll give just a little background on you.
Right.
Me and Beau met at a Roan event. Was that our first time meeting?
I think we met at the house first, actually.
You're right.
Randomly.
We did meet at the house. Beau is a savage gymnast. You grew up doing a lot of gymnastics work. He's just a crazy physical specimen. And he was hanging out at Performix House one day when me and Angela were working out. And we were kind of shooting the shit there and found each other at different events with Roan, which is always awesome. And then this happened this past couple weeks. And I'll let him kind of get into his story, but this is a pretty powerful experience for me watching him go through. So I can only imagine what it is for you. But I'm gonna let you give a lowdown on what's going on here with you in your life right now.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So where to even start? just drop the ball and say what's really going on. About a month ago, 4 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 testicular cancer. It's actually a rare form. It's called non-seminomatous germ cell testicular cancer. It's found in guys, actually common from 24 to 30 years old, but kind of knocked me off my feet out of the blue, kind of. I do a lot of Olympic lifting. I've done everything in terms of competing from college, track and field. I was a gymnast, like we talked about earlier, and I was getting ready for a Olympic lifting meet. And I was talking to my one friend, Jan, who's coaching me back from wrist surgery that I just had actually a year ago last week. And one of our decisions were to let's drop a weight class or to stay where you're going to be. And there's a chance I could qualify for nationals or go qualify for a different meet. And I was like, you know what, why not now? Why not just drop the weight and let's make it challenging. I always like to go above and beyond and be like, why not do this kind of a thing. So I started dropping weight, and I usually weighed in at like 180 pounds, and I started dropping to lower weight classes, about 12 pounds, and I noticed a lump on my neck and went and got it checked out. I was going through like sinus stuff too, and they were like, oh, you've had a ton of shoulder surgery, you popped your collarbone, you have a sinus infection, it's probably a calcium buildup, your lymph nodes swollen, like, don't worry about it. Like, if it gets any bigger, you should worry about it, kind of thing. Right. And I was like, oh, okay, well, knowing me, I'm just like, I'm not going to even worry about it, not even going to look at it again. And then I started losing more weight. I lost the full amount of weight, and then realized there was this ginormous baseball on my neck, kind of. And during that time, I also was like feeling a little bit sick, and that was kind of a red flag to me because I usually have an ironclad stomach that never fails me.
Right, you were saying like stomach, no problem.
Yeah,
ever.
No problem. Unless I'm in a car, then it's just downhill.
I'm the same way. Really bad.
But I told my parents, like right after the meet, I was like, my back's in pain for some reason too. My stomach's a mess. Let me go get it checked out. And I went with my mom to the doctors, and they were like, all right, you got to go to the ER. Let's go get some scans done. Like, we have no idea what this is. Yeah. Got the scans done, and then the scans showed that I had masses that were in my neck and then all throughout my stomach and my abdomen. And it was like, it wasn't there until I was sitting on like the edge of the couch, the bed in the ER room. My mom was next to me in the chair, and the guy walked in. He was like, this is the number one sign for like lymphoma. And I kind of was just like, well, okay, what's next? I was like, I wasn't kind of like, he kind of laughed at me because he was like, this isn't something like you need to like really think. And I'm like, no, like, what are we doing next? Am I getting a biopsy? Am I going here? Am I going there? Like, it's 11:30 at night right now. Like, what's my next step? We don't know what this is. My mom's kind of standing there, like, kind of in shock still, but is there looking at me like it's another battle because I've already had all these surgeries in the past. I've come back from all these other
This is
adventures.
Your 7th surgery?
So I've had like 5 major reconstruction surgeries, and then I had like my knee scoped, so a minor surgery, and then this is like a whole different ball game and everything. Beast. So my mom and I are looking at it as like a whole nother battle. It's like, all right, well, we've done these things, so we've come back from it. I've come back into weightlifting, doing all this stuff and training still, and even helping and just doing my daily life and not having an issue from all these other surgeries. Why is this going to stop me, kind of a thing? Right. So then they didn't even know what kind of cancer it was for the first 2 weeks. I was going in for testing and, went into that dark period of time where it was like, it could be the worst scenario. It could be like there was I remember my mom being upset because there was a good 24, 48 hour period where they were like, it could be non-Hodgkin's or some sort of really bad, you got 2 years kind of to live. Right. But then thank God my mom got a call at 6 a.m. in the morning saying it's testicular. The best part about it is it's 100% curable. I just have to go through 4 cycles of chemo, and then surgery after. So it's a long road, but I'm excited to really go after it, I guess you can say.
Even that, really... like that, this shit blows my mind every time he talks about it. And I've spent a good amount of time, if not with you, talking with you over the past 2 weeks. And every time, guys, like every single time I talk to him, he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm hurting, but I'm excited to like beat this. Like, it's always, he's excited. And I'm like, you're sick in the head. This is crazy to be excited about. And it's something that for me, it really like triggered me when I heard this story about you, and the more I'm learning about how it's all going down, And it triggered me because the past few months of my life, even if you listen to the podcasts, you hear me talk about how I want more change, something different in my life. I want more challenge. I want more adversity. And like I wished it upon myself, and boy, did I get it in the past 4 months, but not anything like you're experiencing, of course, in terms of health. But to hear someone like that resonates with me. I have a challenge and I'm excited to take it on type of thing. Because that's where I really was. I was in a place for me where I was like pumped about taking on adversity or a tough situation. Is that what excites you? That like you've been thrown this challenge almost?
It used to be. The first time you came to see me in the hospital was like one of my roughest days, and I had one of my friends, Dennis, come in too, who's and also survived from testicular cancer. And I told him, and I told my little brothers too, I was like, I'm at ground zero right now. Like I've recovered from all these surgeries. I'm at like zero willpower. Like I don't know what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm kind of excited because I can put on this front to be like, it's another battle. I'm excited to push forward because I always, like growing up, it was always like, how can I push myself harder personally, or like just to be selfish and just, I need to do this to myself to get better. But now it's kind of like flipped a lot, and it's flipped more because of like the people around me who've been helping me, like people that have reached out to me who I don't even know, that are being like, this is amazing that you're doing this. Thank you for opening up. What are you doing today? How are you like feeling? And just being able to talk to other people or talk to people about what's going on is helping me fight more than just how I used to fight, I guess. So I guess like my energy to like push forward and everything, it's coming from helping other people instead of myself now, which is like a complete flip from what it used to be, which is kind of more of exciting now, seeing how everything's working out than before.
One of the things you were talking about recently was how interesting it is because, so Beau, you're a personal or a group fitness instructor. CrossFit is your game, right?
CrossFit, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
How old are you?
27.
So he's 27, dealing with all this shit. He was like a full-time CrossFit beast, either training himself for competitions or teaching classes. Spot on with that, right?
And then I'm at New York University. I'm an assistant track coach there for the track team.
Awesome.
So coaching pole vaulting as well.
Yeah. So with all these things that he had going on, you kind of came into this situation, and one of the things you said to me was, what's wild is how much you've been a helper. Everything you've done is helping. And then for the first time, maybe ever, or that you can really remember, you're the one in need of help. Mm-hmm. What's that experience kind of been so far?
Wild roller coaster. Like you get to the top of this roller coaster and you're like, shit, we're about to drop. And you're waiting for like the foot to drop, but the thing is the foot never drops. There's all these people around you that you don't expect to come forward, that you're not even asking to come forward, that are willing to help you in so many ways. Like people coming to visit me in the hospital that I never would have expected to come see me. People that will FaceTime me. Like I went on my Instagram one day. I was like, you know what, guys, I'm sitting in the hospital, or I'm not really doing much except stuff on my computer until I figure out what I'm going to be able to do mentally, physically, with everything. FaceTime me, and the people that are FaceTiming me, just having a conversation, being like, hey, let's go for a walk, or let's go do this, or for instance, hey, let's go meet up one day and do this podcast. Let's do this. Ways that they can help. I have had people ask me, all right, what are you doing? A GoFundMe page? Screw GoFundMe. Let's go do a walk and let's go talk to people instead. Like, I want you to tell your story to other people. Like, someone came up to me that was a Lululemon ambassador. Like, you should get involved with this, not because of everything that's going on with you, but how you're attacking this. And we can make this more of just about you or a story, but how people can actually like overcome these different things that just rapidly hit them in life that they don't know what to do. I'm still getting it every day. I wake up and there's a new person that messages me that says, hey, I'm a survivor, or hey, I'm dealing with this type of cancer. You're helping me today get through this. So thank you. Like, I had a girl that I went to high school with messaged me today, and she was like, hey, I've been following you for the longest time, and I had like a lump under my armpit. I've been too scared to do anything, but I made the appointment. I'm going today. So thank you for like giving me. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like, I'm just being me, but kind of putting out this message of this vulnerable state that you need to get out of, and just be like, okay, I'm hurt. Can you help me, guys? Or you don't even have to help me. Just know that this is where I'm at, because I'm used to being this person that's like, I have this front on, like I'm always energetic. I mean, always am energetic, but always like there's nothing wrong kind of.
Right.
But now that people know, it's like I don't want sympathy, but I want you to be on the same page of like we all can help each other out in different ways.
Right. And that creates power is what I'm recognizing. I'm seeing this shift in it, almost like your energy is driving people towards you. And it's not like a pity party thing. And I would say, like, I would be honest, like if everybody was feeling so bad for Beau and just wanted to like be there to help him, that'd be a different story. It's not that. Like everybody that's talking with you and getting excited about work, I was so fired up to have you on this because for me, what you're doing is very similar to what I'm doing in that you're not a cancer survivor who can tell everybody what you did and how you did it and the mindset you had when you went through it. You're the dude in battle right now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm interviewing you on the battlefield. And that's how I envision this whole podcast being for me. I don't know the answers to life. I'm not like, all these mega stars that are doing these podcasts because they made $10 million in a year or because they're like the biggest whatever and they have some awesome story. I'm living it and I'm talking about it as I go, which is scary because you're super vulnerable.
Yep.
But that's what I was excited to have you on the show for because you're in battle right now. And we're in very different battles, but we're both in battle now. And I love to talk with people who are going through stuff and being vulnerable as it happens. There's incredible power behind that. And you start to connect with people. Are you feeling like, because I see it from afar, I don't know if you recognize it, but are you feeling like you're connecting with people in a different way because of your choice to be more vulnerable in this?
Oh, 100%. I've had people in my classes I've connected with in a different way now, being more open about them because some of them would come in when I made a post about being vulnerable and just saying this is how I really feel. And like I get on Instagram like every day now and I'll tell everyone, all right, guys, today's a good day. Today's a bad day. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. I have to go back to the doctors today. And like I have like people from my 5 a.m. classes reach out to me and they're like, hey, like we know you used to be this like really energetic hard ass in the morning sometimes when we need you to be that, but we're happy to see that you're being okay and being like this because it just shows like you're human, like not even just human, but we can relate more to you now, which is great. And I have a deeper connection with them now because I can like relate and also talk to them more on a friend level instead of just a trainer to member or like a one-on-one situation now. Yeah, because
it breaks down a lot of walls when shit like 100%. This happens.
And it changes everything. Like my connection with like my family has changed a lot too. Like I'm one of 7, so like a huge family, and I'm always like the strong one, like never breaks down. I'm always pushing through. I never show like weakness in terms of crying. If I get hurt, it's like I suck it up and just like I push it off to the side, or I like tell my mom without my brothers and sisters knowing. And like I had a really bad day. It was after my like white blood cell count, and I like broke down emotionally, crying just everything in front of my 2 sisters and mom, and like they were like laughing, but like in a good way laughing, because they were like, you're finally breaking down, it's okay, like you never do this. And for me, that's helped me open up to them on a more personal level, which I'm thankful for, because I haven't been able to do that for so long because I've been so trained to,
suck it up.
So
what was that? This is kind of a deep question, but like, why? What was that thing that made you say, I'm going to open up, even though that's not me, I've never done it, because you came out with this information pretty quickly when you found out. Yeah. And you went a little dark on everybody for like 2 weeks.
It was like a month. It was a month.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, obviously, because you had to deal with this. And then it just like, you just open up and said, like, this is what's going on. What made you do that and step into vulnerability? And I asked you that because you weren't that guy. Yeah. Like I'm like, if something like that, God forbid, were to happen to me, I've always been Mr. Open. I'm gonna of course I'm gonna go tell the world what's going on. I think, but for you, like it was a total 180 from your usual actions. So what was that made you say, I'm here and this is what's going on?
I mean, the whole thing was really hard for me. Like I remember when I left the meet it was like a Sunday, I had this meet and I was coaching, and it was like Wednesday night I was teaching this class, and I had to call my buddy up, his name's Orlando, and I was like, right in the middle of class, I was like, you need to come take over my class. I can't walk right now. My back is in so much pain. My stomach's in pain. I'm taking like a night train home. I'm going to go see the doctors. Like, and that's the last thing I said to him or like anyone. Like, I was gone for a month. Like, I told my bosses that I was medical stuff. Like, I didn't really tell them anything. And then I started getting all these text messages, Instagram message, hey man, where are you? What's going on? My best friend, I didn't tell even my best friend in the city or like anyone like what was going on. People were like really scared, like, we miss you at 5 a.m. classes, like we want you back doing this, and this, what's going on? I kind of just like realized when I was going through, and this is still, I didn't even know what it was. I was I just knew it was cancer. And like, unlike my other surgeries, I could walk in and be like, oh, it's just surgery. Like, I'm going to be able to get through this because I'll be in a sling. I'll be back to coaching in a week. For this is like a completely different battle. I was actually scared because I didn't know how to go about this one. Mm-hmm. This is something where I knew I'm going to have to go into the hospital a lot. I'm going to have surgery after. It's something that everyone like sympathizes to. You have cancer. Like, oh my God. Like, I didn't want the pity train to come through. It was kind of like, I kind of opened up to kind of show people that even though it was like this scary thing, we don't know what's happening, that even if you do it, it's like that first big step. Like we were talking about earlier about doing something, like if you have a great idea, like it's just getting over that first hurdle. For me, once I made that step and I told my sister, I was like, I'm going to tell everyone. I decided I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it in a funny way. I'm going to shave my head and say, fuck you, cancer. I look better with a shaved head. Yeah. I'm going to make a joke about it so everyone knows.
You do actually look great with a shaved head.
You know, no I joke. Might keep it. People keep telling me. no man bun or flow. But it was more about just, I remember when I hit the upload button, it was like everything like lifted off my shoulders and chest. Because I was like, I could just, it wasn't just to get it out there and have people be like, oh, this is why you've been gone. Oh, I wasn't looking for people's responses. It was more like, here you go, everyone. This is why I've been gone for a month. I hope like you're okay with me being, I was more upset that I was gone. I couldn't tell anyone, I feel like. But then once everyone found out, everyone's been more supportive about not me just getting better, but getting me back into working, getting me back into coaching class. Yeah. When are we going to see you again? When are you going to coach again? Like, when are we going to be able to do privates with you again, kind of a thing.
So this is, it's a little off topic, but it's completely on topic, is the idea of social media and like the power of it. Because we talk so much shit about social media and everybody hates on it. And I'm not the biggest advocate for social media in that it's the best thing in the world and it's amazing. It can be, and it can be amazing. It also can be wildly dangerous and depressing and just abused. But what I would urge you to do is recognize what Beau is doing with his platform. And we all have access to these platforms. They're free. You can download them. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. And I admire you for that, because I think a lot of people would abuse the situation, not your specific situation, but their situation, whatever it is, they abuse it. They use social media to abuse it. And what you're doing is you're creating community, you're creating connection, you're creating vulnerability, you're being an example for others. That's remarkable, man. That's awesome stuff. It's so cool to see. So hopefully somebody takes that and is like, yeah, I think I can do that too, because I think that's really important. The one thing that I love about the whole beginning portion of this story is the what's next mindset. And it was you sitting on the bed, the doctor giving you the news, and without missing a beat, it was like, what's next? Yeah. And at the risk of bringing in like a very depressing question, but I think it's one that is really interesting for you to answer, is there were multiple ways you could have gone about receiving that information. Mm-hmm. Could have just shut down and been miserable, could have cried and thrown the pity party. Anything negative could have come from that. And you chose immediately, almost without hesitation, what's next? Where was that mindset there, or was this something that like in that moment you didn't even let yourself get to the negative pity party stuff? Was that something that triggered in that moment? Was that there for you always?
It's always been there. Like, so for almost like 6 years, I've always had like a saying that I've gone by, like since all my surgeries, like rebuilt to inspire. Like every time I come back from like falling down, getting hurt or something, every time I do that, I get stronger in some way. It's something I've always lived by. And I just remember him, like when he said it, it was immediate. Like, what's next? Like I just laughed and I was like, okay, what's going on?
Crazy.
And like, I think the thing that was more crazy about everything is I remember getting home. I remember talking to my sister, JD, and being like, she was like, all right, how you feeling? And I was like, yeah. I was like, listen, this isn't real to me. Nothing's going to be real until I'm in the hospital, shaved head, chemo in arm. That's when it's going to be real for me. And that's when it actually did hit. Like, I was joking about it, but I just remember my like first chemo session, just like sitting there and then like being on all the meds and everything and just feeling everything. That's when I was like, wow,
Holy
this
crap.
is really happening. And like, I joked about it for like, I remember being at home for a week and a half. I told it like my mom, same thing, like day by day, like we have no idea. Like, all right,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Like, I'm just joking around and being myself, but it wasn't until that moment in the hospital where really everything like kicked in. But yeah, it was right away. Like, just how I've always been, I guess. I don't ever really look at the down part until later.
Yeah. And what's awesome about what you're doing right now, sharing this, is that if you're listening and you're saying to yourself, you're throwing a pity party for whatever your shit is, listen, it's all perspective. I'm not saying anybody's thing is harder than anybody else's health, a relationship situation. Everybody feels differently about different things. Mm-hmm. So you may be, you might have broke your nail and life is over right now for you. But the challenge is, how do you step into a what's next mindset? What does that look like? And I think for me, I know in my life, it's something I often live by. It's not a get over it and move on. It's a recognize it and understand that you could sit in your shit for a long time. 100%. You could, but how does that serve you or anybody around you?
Yep.
And certainly when it comes to health, and there's so many studies, obviously not off the top of my head that I know, but there's so much scientific proof that your mood when you're going through illness completely affects how your body responds to the illness.
Yep.
So your ability to choose that what's next mindset is just, it's amazing. So if you're listening or watching, whatever you're doing, challenge yourself. The next time you face something that's kicking your ass, give it the Beau's what's next mindset. See what can come of that, because it really can shift everything. Have you felt like being in that what's next space has allowed you to take this on very differently?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
More in two ways. More one way personally of things that I want to do personally going on, and then like with the community, what I want to do, kind of being an ambassador for testicular cancer, and like how I want to go out, and like the idea that I was talking about earlier that we'll touch on, I guess, soon, the chemo cameo.
I love
kind
it.
of stuff.
Come on, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
So I need to give the credit where it's due. It's to my sister, JD. So she doesn't kill me just by taking the credit for it. But I remember the first day I had chemo, I was sitting in bed, and I had a couple friends come, and I had my friend Dennis come, and we all took a picture together, and I was like, everyone's coming, everyone's asking when they're going to come, like, can come visit me during chemo, because they're like, chemo's a hard time, it's 3.5 hours long, it's like, it's brutal, like, you're just sitting there, and they were like, we want to come, we want to talk to you, we want to, talk about stories, anything, like, get to know what's been going on, and I was like, wow, this would be really funny. So I posted it on my Instagram, like chemo cameo, like a joke, like anyone that comes in, you're going to be my cameo for during my chemo sessions. And my sister was like, this is amazing. You should make it into a real thing. Brilliant. So I immediately went online,
genius.
Right? Marketing genius. Got the domain rights for it, got the Instagram handle for it, doing patenting stuff right now with it. And I'm going to start working with Grace Sloan, the hospital. I have a meeting with them this week to kind of talk about like how I can make this a real thing. And every time I'm telling people about it, they're like, oh, this is kind of like a Make-the-Wish Foundation. Like, you're going to have all these people come in that are famous and not famous. And I was like, no, I want this to be like more of a storytelling kind of platform for everyone that's going through chemo of all type of cancers. Because you have to, like, I remember going to sitting last Thursday, and there's people that are teenagers, young kids, people in their 70s, like people of all ages are getting treatment done for chemo, or they're outpatient, inpatient, but they're doing it alone.
Right.
So like imagine creating a platform where you can come in, FaceTime somebody or talk to somebody during this and not be alone, and just tell your story about what's going on, or even just like, all right, today's hard, like just talk about your day. It's like another way for us to all connect instead of just being like quiet about what's going on. And I mean, you could tie it into having famous people come in if you really want to, but it's really not about that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start making it, I think in 2 weeks, 3 weeks is like my next 5 days of chemo, where it's going to be rough, or 2 weeks from now, kind of losing track of time. But I'm going to start it then. I'm going to have people come in. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to start posting it, and then I'm going to start going to people that are also having chemo done, trying to make it this bigger thing of just reaching out to people, which I think will be great. So
You just finished your first cycle of chemo?
So I finished my first cycle this Thursday. So a cycle is 21 days long. The first week I go in 5 days straight. And then the next 2 weeks I go in 1 day a week. And then I have a week off. Thank God they want to be nice to me. Yeah. And then I have, after I finish this Thursday, I have 3 more cycles.
It's honestly, it sounds really bad, but I went up there and the nurse's station, man. Like, okay, so I walk up, no joke. I walk up and he's sitting there, he's got his arm on the desk, like kind of leaning in, like looking at all these. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I walk over, no joke, 15 women that were just like beautiful nurses all sitting there. And you're just like, yeah, like with this swaggy kind of attitude. And I'm like, dude, you're enjoying chemo right now. Are you kidding me? He's like, yeah,
this
dude,
was
it's
before
not as bad
chemo.
as it
This is before chemo.
That was the first day. You're
that
right.
was the first day.
Wow, that was great. Yeah, I remember walking in on that. That was so funny. All right, so I posted something recently. I think, was that yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
Jeez, these days.
they
So I
all
can't believe that
merge.
was yesterday. So I talked about life and how we see things that are supposed to be a certain way, and when they're not, we feel like shit because it's not our plan. And I kind of want to get into that topic because what happened to you is something that you can look at as just that. This is what happened to me. But you're kind of going at it. I don't know if you're fully there yet or if you'll be there. I can't speak for you. That's why I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. But there can be a shift in like this happened for you in a way. What are you feeling about this whole situation in terms of that mindset of like, this was clearly not in your plan book of what your next few years were going to look like, but it happened and you're taking it on day by day. How are you feeling about that? Are you feeling like, I don't even want to say it like it's a blessing in some way, but where's your head at with all this?
Well, the funny thing is that actually all comes back to you.
To
really,
me?
To you. Really funny, yeah. And
Let's hear this.
No,
God, I'm nervous.
You're going to remember. So about, what was it, last February or March, I messaged you randomly, and I was like, I need to have a sit down with you. I need to have like a chat. And I remember just being like, this is everything I do in life. Like I'm at 4 different gyms. I'm coaching at a college. I work for like CrossFit HQ doing all these different sanctioned events as a head staff member. I'm doing independent artwork. I'm like personal training. And you were just like, what the hell are you doing? Like pick one thing kind of a thing. And you kind of gave me like, these are the things you need to do. And I was sitting there like having this talk with you being like, I don't know what I want to be. I'm all over the place. I kind of need to be like, I need something to snap me back into reality kind of because I just love doing everything. I don't like being at one place.
Yeah, you're a jack of all trades in a way.
And I remember doing that. I remember like the following months, I was like, all right, I'm going to start leaving. I left some gyms. I focused on being at 2 places more. I changed. I stopped doing art. I went to focus more on the things that were going to get me farther in life kind of, and things that I had to let go of were things that I was just like playing around with in a way. And then this thing kind of came out of the blue and knocked me off, and it's kind of completely reset me because for the past 4 weeks I'm like, well, I'm not coaching now, I'm not doing personal training now, I'm sitting writing, I'm not supposed to do anything this first cycle because I'm supposed to figure out what are my good days, what are my bad days, like what I can and can't do, and it's really resetting me to figure out. I don't want to say it's a blessing because cancer is not a blessing, let's be honest, but like the whole everything happens for a reason kind of thing in the universe, I kind of now believe in because I wasn't looking for, like you were looking for something like you've been talking about, and
some
you got
type of adversity,
some sort of thing, and I kind of got this now, and I'm still. I took that big step with the chemo cameo and like other stuff that I'm doing, and there's all these other plans I've like taken this big step on, and I feel like I'm getting in this brand new direction, which is great. But but I'm not there yet. I don't think I'm there yet, but I feel like this definitely was a eye opener in terms of life, of like what I need to do. Like, it's putting me on the right path, because like the one thing my mom always says is like day by day, take it day by day. And that's one thing I always do. I hit, daily goals in the morning. I always write down 3 things I'm going to do for the day and then for the week, and like day by day, what's next?
Love it.
So.
Yeah, because it's so interesting, and it's hard. It's not, I'll be vulnerable about it. Like, it's hard to have this discussion with you because holy shit, like what you're going through is crazy. But what I was saying on my story the other day was that, we have these visions of what life should look like. We say, by this age, I want to have this, I want to be in this relationship, and I want to have a business, and I want to be making this much, and I want kids, or whatever. We have this vision that we create, and then we put our head down and we hustle towards it. And the most driven people are the ones who are just like obsessed with that goal or that vision, and they do everything they can to go get it. And then there's the people who are kind of just like lazy and letting things happen in life. But all we do is we focus on what we can see as the end goal, or what we can see as what our life should be, and how we're creating that for ourselves. Yep. And the crazy part is, when we're so focused, this is my opinion, when we're so focused on what that end goal is, that we put our head down and we don't pay attention to the rest of the world and what's going on, we're actually creating resistance to what the universe is offering us. Yep. And I've done a podcast on universal resistance versus universal resistance, the resistance that you create versus what the universe gives you. And it kind of is in alignment with that. Whereas like things come up, I know for me recently, there have been things that I couldn't imagine certain parts of my life being the way that they are, because I just couldn't see it. I could never envision certain areas looking like that. There's so much. There's pieces in our lives of what we know that we know. There's pieces in our lives we know that we don't know. And then the rest is we don't know what we don't know. Yeah. Like, which is 99.96% of the information in the world. The rest, that little like chunk of it, is the stuff we know that we know and we know that we don't. And when you're open to surrendering or being vulnerable or trusting that the universe has a kick-ass plan for you, you take things on a little differently. And I'm not saying like everything that happens is like, yay, I got cancer. Like that's not, it's hard to go into life with that mindset, which is why this conversation is hard. But what you can do is choose to take on whatever it is the universe put in front of you and say, all right, this has been given to me. And usually in the sucky moments, they are the rock bottom foundation for a kick-ass building that you're creating. Mm-hmm. And when I look at your situation and I watched you sit on the bed last Monday or Tuesday, whatever that was, and heard you just say like, dude, I'm down, like I'm hurting. That rock solid foundation is like, it doesn't get any lower type of thing. And now you are able to build this fortress of whatever it is that you want to create. The chemo cameo, the whatever you want to do with your events. That he does like huge CrossFit events in on the East Coast. Whatever it is that you're building and creating is gonna come from this wild bout of adversity that you've had. So there's a level of trust in the universe that if we sink our teeth into that, I believe that more than you could ever, like abundance beyond measure that you can never see for yourself is there waiting. But you gotta stop thinking you're smarter than the universe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, how many people do that? This is the way it's supposed to be. And then you spend all your days fighting with, like, all the shit that's coming up, you know? Yep. So it's been a really interesting thought. And you inspired a lot of that talk yesterday that I did over Instagram, because I was just like, this is how I think. And Beau's situation is testing that way of thinking.
I even was messaging when you're doing. I'm like, this is exactly what we're talking
about.
This is
like,
it, call
dude.
Me right now.
Yeah, man. Because there is a way to go into this and just be like, why me? Why this happened to me? But this situation, dude, you're firing up your life in a lot of ways right now. You're creating this new Instagram account with, by the way, with zero energy. The dude's doing this. Like, he's in mid chemo, and you're still making all this happen. Imagine when you bounce back and when this is all done with, and the energy that you once had is like kicked back into play. what's that gonna look like?
I don't
It's
know.
gonna be crazy.
Kind of scared, but at the same time excited.
Dude, you're gonna be a fireball. You already were, but like next level.
I mean, yeah, this whole thing, I mean, it's kind of like what I woke up this morning and I was like thinking about like today, like our podcast and everything. And I woke up and today's a good day for me. Like, have energy, body's not hurting as much today. The only thing was like I felt foggy today. Like I sat down on my computer, I started doing work and like emails and finishing up an article, and I got like 10 minutes into work and I was closed my computer lid. I was like, it's not there today. Not there. And then I was like, what's today? How am I going to do this? I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go over notes. I'm going to say, all right, I'm meeting with my friend for coffee. I'm doing this podcast, which I'm excited for. And then I was like, I'm going to finish one thing I'm going to do today. I'm going to finish the Chemo Cameo logo and put that there. And I was thinking like, all right, I just took a really bad day, like not bad day, but a bad day for me. And I'm going to do one thing. Like that's like that whole kind of switch, because I know if I finish this logo, it's one step closer to like helping like everyone. If it's going to help everyone, it could tank for all we know. But if it doesn't, like it's going to help a lot of people. And that's what like pushed me. So today, like my post, I was like, all right, I did a post of me sitting in a chair just looking, be like, hey, hello, Monday, I'm coming for you. Like a simple savage kind of post. And like my little brother is like, man, you're just like Morpheus from the Matrix. I'm like, kind of red pill, blue pill kind of thing scenario. But it's like, it's kind of like every day though. Think about that. Like what we were talking about. Like, okay, say something happens tomorrow for somebody and it's something bad. All right, so what are you going to do about it? Are you going to look at the negatives, or are you just going to be like, okay, what's next? Like, are you just going to push by? And I think that's what people need to start doing. And not just because it's like, okay, but if I push past it and be like, there's all these negatives. I'm not saying don't look at the negatives, but I'm saying you need to have that urgency to say, okay, I'm going to push by it. Because once you start thinking of, you know, the negatives, you're screwed. It's almost like when we're working out. If you're in the middle of a workout and you stop, if you stop more than 10 seconds, it just kills your whole workout, because you lose your breathing, you lose your drive that you have, and then you're done. You can't get back into that rhythm. Yeah. So it's kind of like that mindset I want to kind of get out towards people to, like, besides that one day at a time, it's like, what's next? Be that positive energy to say, okay, screw it, throw it under the rug, let's keep on going. And then once you start moving forward, you can look back at it. Yeah. So. Sometimes it really does take some shitty situations for you to get back to the foundation and the basics of your what's the word? Your values, I guess. So like, what is my foundational values as a person? How do I act? What do I believe in moments of struggle? Like when you hit a wall hard, which like doesn't get much harder than what you're hitting right now, you have no choice. You have to figure out a way to get through it, right? Like you're in a space where you can't just drop. Like you have to figure out a productive way to get through it. And for a lot of us, we're not going through cancer and we're not facing the just ridiculous circumstances. We're just facing like, I lost my job, or my girlfriend broke up with me, or I feel unmotivated and demotivated, unmotivated. Unmotivated, demotivated. Whatever. Either or. Unmotivated. Not an English major. Yeah. So when you're facing those things and they're not like this crazy high scale, the same challenges come up. Like, how do I go about this? And what I'm really loving about watching this journey is watching you commit to the day by day. And I ask you often, I text you, how you doing today? How you doing today? And my purpose of that is very intentional, because you told me 12 hours ago when we talked at 8 p.m. that you're struggling, but it's a new day, new moment, new opportunity. So my mission is to give you the space to say, I'm feeling great right now. You know, and that, I think that there's a lot of people who, because Saturday night was terrible, then that means Sunday morning's terrible. And if Sunday morning's terrible, Sunday, the whole day is going to be terrible. And if Sunday was bad, the whole week's going to be bad. And then you build this tornado of bullshit. Whereas if you take each moment and say, okay, I've been struggling today, and I'm going to write this list, and I'm going to get one thing done. Like, I love that, man. That's so fire. How many of us need that? We write these crazy lists and we don't get it all done. So then we feel like crap and we feel depressed because we didn't get done what we said we were going to get done. So start small. Start small. Can be the simplest things. Like today I'm going to walk, I'm going to do my mile, or I'm going to go do all this stuff with my mom. I'm going to see one person this week. My list ranges from the simplest things. Today, I'm going to get up and go to the store today. I don't need to go to the store, but that gets me up to walk. Yeah. Like yesterday, my brother came to visit me, and my mom was like, "What are we gonna do?" I was like, "Let's go to GameStop. Let's go to Best Buy. Let's just walk." And she was like, "Do you need anything from the stores?" I'm like, "No, but why not? Like, let's go walk." And like that was my goal, to get up and walk, because like all my joints were killing me yesterday. I don't know why. I woke up just was not great, but I knew if I walked, I would feel better. So did not feel better.
You essentially created a task for yourself to complete, a mission, right? And how many times do we have a crappy feeling, or we're feeling negative, and what we do is we sit and mope, or we actually do the opposite. We take things off our list because it's like, oh, I have too much to do. I don't feel like doing them. I don't feel good, whatever. What if you were to create a mission, create a goal, something that's achievable, that you can find a kind of an end goal to, and you go do it. And then it's like, all right, I sparked something. Yesterday, the perfect example for me, I slept until noon because my body was dead from a long ass week. So I was so happy I slept until noon. And I sat up and I started doing some work. And then I went to a soccer game at night, right? Red Bulls game. They won 2-0. Let's go, Red Bulls.
Red Bulls.
New York is red. And I remember I said, I'm working out today. I need to. My body was just, I just needed a workout. And I had to leave by 4 o'clock for this game. And dude, at like 3:45, I'm sitting there on my couch doing this work. And I was so pissed because I took like 3 phone calls from my boy who was like, we were talking about work stuff. And I was just so mad that I didn't get the workout in. And I could have just like gone on with my day, and I know what I would have done was sulk and like eaten crappy food at the game because I was mad that I didn't work out and whatever, and been like in my own crap. But what I did was I whipped out a mat and 2 towels, and I just did like 10 sets of mountain climbers and then a bunch of ab work for 7 minutes. And I was like sweating a little bit. Wasn't an effective workout. I mean, it was 7 minutes, whatever. It was good. And I was burning a little bit. But I did something. Like I set a goal. I said like, all right, let's just get 5 minutes in. Even just to say I did something. Just to say like I went to the store and then went home. Like that's enough. And for you, that decision to go to Best Buy, go to GameStop, and just get up, that's a goal you set for yourself. So the question is for the listeners, guys, are you setting goals for yourself? They don't have to be these ridiculous, like, oh, I want to make $1 million this year. Like, come on, man. Yeah, that's an awesome vision to have for yourself. But what are you doing today, right now, this moment, literally as you're listening? Is your mission to, I'm going to listen to this whole podcast? Is your mission to, I'm going to like take 5 minutes to meditate today? What is your mission in this moment? Lock it in small so that the bigger things can be created. Right? It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
I just went on a hard rant.
You did.
Sorry.
I loved it though. It's good. You're right there.
I'm good.
Heart's
sweating
a little bit.
So my next question for you, number one person so far, not like a comparison of like people, but who's been your rock through this whole thing?
My mother. Probably my mother. It's been my rock.
Not shocked.
Mom,
I met your mom. She's a doll.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's my pillar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And your sister's been...
Yeah, all my sisters have been amazing. My sister lives in the city with me. Her name's Michaela. We all have nicknames. Her name's MK, but I lived on the Upper East Side, and I was lucky enough for her to be like, come move in with me during all this stuff that's happening, because you need to be with somebody during all these treatments, everything going on, just in case if God forbid something goes wrong, or when like that day I had a really bad day and I needed somebody to be there for me. So I moved in with her, and then my other sister, who's like my best friend in the world, her name's JD. Bird is her nickname for me. So they've just been every day there for me, talking, helping me get through it. And they know me so well when they know I'm lying, and I'll be like, I'm doing fine. They're like, Beau. I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, this hurts. Okay, what do you want to do about it? Like, I'll be honest with you, but they help me get up. They help me push. They've been helping me with everything, especially with like the chemo cameo kind of thing. My sister's always like a huge fan with it now. So
Yeah.
it's been good. They've been helping a lot. So, and let's not forget Levain Bakery.
I was no joke about to say, what about Levain? They're the real MVP. Levain
MVP.
cookies. If you had not
I
had
should have worn
Levain
their shirt
cookies,
today.
oh my
It would have been
God.
great.
So I show up to Beau's hospital room, and he's like, dude, come with me. And I think he's gonna show me, like, I don't know, some weird shit. I don't know what we're gonna find in a hospital. And he like scurries his way into the kitchen and opens the fridge and pulls out
A box.
like a sack of these cookies. Now, one cookie is like a large biscuit and weighs a pound.
Basically,
It's huge. He had like 25.
Yeah.
And
you've never had them before, too.
I never had them. I've heard all about them. The girl who brought them to you, what's her name? Alex wrote to me on Instagram. And she was like, you're welcome for the cookies.
Right.
It was so great because I was posting the crap out of them. We did taste tests. I think we had like 3 each. It was checking like how good were they in the microwave versus out of the microwave. It was so fun.
The highlight of the whole entire thing was, though, you came and you're like, all right, man, we're going to do an Instagram story and we're going to go live and I want you to tell everyone your story. So we start this video of Instagram Live, and we get 2 minutes into it, and then you finally go, oh, by the way, everyone, this is my friend Beau. Like, Beau, why don't you tell us about yourself
Like,
and
Nick,
why we're really
up.
here? Yeah, like it's been legit 3 minutes, and we're talking about cookies, and you forgot why we're doing
Guys,
this live video.
I started the live video on Instagram, and all I did was talk about cookies while the cancer patient is standing next to me, and like we're supposed to be talking about you and like inspiring and motivating. I'm like, guys, you need to go eat these cookies. It was so funny. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Well, listen, this is a great promotion for Levain cookies.
Yeah, great promotion. 100%.
And they deserve it because their cookies are so good. You got to heat them up in the microwave, though. Although all the chocolate and peanut butter ones, those are the ones you have to heat up.
Yeah.
What was the one with the
Chocolate walnut.
the one with the cranberries in it?
There's no walnut cranberry.
The raisins in it?
Raisin walnut. It's walnut.
Raisin walnut.
Raisin walnut.
That one I
Chocolate
don't
chip
like
raisin
as
walnut.
much. I don't like that one as much with heated up. All the other ones need to be heated up. I'll get back on track. I had one last night, by the way. I'm not kidding.
I brought you a bag.
Yeah, I've been cutting. He brought me a bag the other day as like a little love gift, and I've been like doing half a night and just like taking it really slow because I don't want them to. Oh my God, they make me sweat. They're so good. So the next thing I want to ask is, do you have, so hopefully we'll have a large audience listening to this. I believe that this is going to be a super powerful episode. It has been for me so far. And do you have an ask of the audience? Do you request something? Because I know you're stepping into this like kind of vulnerable state right now where you're open to kind of telling what's really going on. And I guess, do you have any asks of the audience who are listening? Follow, prayers? Like, do you ask for anything from the listeners today? It's a tough question. You could say no.
It is no. It is tough. It's something that's been on my mind actually the past couple of days because like I've gotten to a point where I don't know how to respond to some of the questions people have been asking me. A lot of people will come up and be like, "Hey, how can we help you?"
Yep.
And honestly, I'm so used to being like, no. How can I help? How can I help you?
Yep.
Like, that's who I am. I always like helping people. And when I'm done helping people, I look back at what I can help myself with, kind of a thing. Like, that's why I love doing all these different jobs. And it's gone from everyone being like, okay, do you have a GoFundMe account? And like, yes, I finally set one up because of everything going on. And people have been gracious enough to donate to that. Or people have been like, when can we start training with you again? Mm-hmm. Like, when can we come take your class again? I am going to be starting to coach soon. Don't worry. It's coming back. It's coming back. I am looking to start doing personal training soon, which is great because that's what I'm going to be allowed to do more than coaching just because of the type of cancer I have in germ cell and needing to be in a clean space and everything with people. But the ask part, I mean, there's not really a thing that's hit it yet. Like, that's why it's always that same thing. What can I do for you guys?
Right.
Like I always have people. I had a girl yesterday message me, "Hey, I don't mean to be rude. I know you're going through a tough time, but you kind of stopped midway through talking about your handstand push-up seminar thing on Instagram, and I really want to know what part 3 is. I'm not kidding. And I was like, well, this is great. That gives me something to do. I was like, I had the video on my phone. I was like, I posted, I sent it to her, and I was like, here it is. Like, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to still do it.
That's awesome.
I think the ask is to, if you want to reach out to me, talk to me if you want to check in. I'm always here to talk because I have all the time now. But if it's also like stuff about coaching, gymnastics, running stuff for track, field, like anything in terms of that kind of thing, feel free to reach out too. Because like my biggest joy is still coaching. Like last Tuesday, I was able to, this past Saturday, I went to visit my gym and I got to coach 2 people in a foundations class, and it was the best hour of my life. I was That's like, awesome. Even though I was feeling like crap the whole time, I was like, this is really what I miss doing. Like I haven't coached in 2 months, but I'm so happy I'm here.
Yeah, it gives you like a new appreciation now that it's almost like you sense the experience of it being taken away. Yeah. And then now every time you get to step back onto the floor and work with people, it's a humbling experience. Yep, it's like, it's pretty probably crazy how, I don't think either of us are the type of guys that take what we do for granted. I think we're both pretty in love with our jobs and what we do, but you're in a situation, I would imagine, where it's like every second is a special second now with people, that's amazing, man. You also have a GoFundMe page. I'm going to force you to tell people what that is. Go ahead. What do we got?
Actually, it's GoFundMe Beau versus Cancer.
BEAU.
BEAU. Yeah.
Versus Cancer.
Yeah. So I'll send you the stuff on that. We can post.
Yeah, that'll all be posted online, so you guys can check that out and support Beau as best you can in that way. We can follow you on Instagram at BeauVolt.
Yep, at BeauVolt.
And soon to come, your Instagram.
Yeah, soon to come. Yeah, it's up now. I'll be making a post probably sometime next week about it.
And it's at
Cameo. At Chemo
Cameo. I gotta stop messing that up. I'll get it. I'll have it locked in.
So we'll make it a thing.
I always end the show with a let's go moment.
Let's go.
And what that means is, if you could give the listener right now who may be struggling with maybe a health issue or something where they need to be motivated or inspired, I think you've done a pretty damn good job of doing that already today. But if you could give them a moment that just makes them feel like, let's go, I'm ready to take on the world when they hang up this podcast, what words of wisdom or advice or insight could you leave someone with right now? I love putting people on the spot in this part.
I mean, we have this whole thing we've been talking about, being vulnerable, and I think that's what people need to be, like, with somebody you haven't been with, or maybe it's your closest friend. Like, for me, one of my closest friends in the city, his name's Holden, and I told him about he was like one of the first people I told about anything, like even before some of my family members, because we talk every single day. I was like, we're college buddies. I was like, this is everything that's going on. I told him, like, first, I was like, I'm terrified. I was like, I'm terrified of everything going on. And right when I told him that, he was like, him just coming back being like, it's okay, I'm here. Like, what do you, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what I can do for you. And like, he was like, he dropped everything. He's like, I can come see you, like, come back home for the weekend. I was like, I have so many people here at this house. I just need you to know. Right. And just telling him that and spending like 5 minutes on the phone with him turned my whole entire perspective around in terms of being this down person to being, okay, now I'm okay. Because I was able to tell somebody that one little thing, and now I was like, what can I do next? Now I can be this rock pillar in front of everyone in my family. Now I can be strong, and now I can, like, go at it as this whole entire thing. Let's go, one day at a time. So I guess the best thing I'm going to tell everyone right now is, if you have that one person, it doesn't even have to be anyone. It could be your mom. It could be your best friend. It could be the smallest thing that's going on. Let's say, like, you just got dumped. Telling your best friend, I just got dumped. I'm a mess right now. You know what? Instead of being a mess, instead of saying, let's go drink, let's go do something. Let's do something. Let's make something out of it, kind of a thing. Taking that first step and admitting that you're hurt is that big step that everyone's always scared of taking. Yeah. It takes them so long. But once you take it and get it over with, that's what opens up the door to, like, this whole let's go forward.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because you finally get an opportunity to release the weight that you're holding of, this is what happened, this is why I'm in such a bad place, this is what I'm struggling with. The second you say, I'm struggling, like I need, it's not even like I need help, it's even just saying, like, this is what I'm going through. like you said, when I said, what's your ask for the team, for the Let's Go fam? Like, what's your ask? You're like, I don't even know, but I want people to know what's going on. And that, to me, what a powerful statement you can make by just telling someone. So there have been many family friends of mine, or family or friends of friends who struggled with depression, suicidal thoughts, physical ailments or situations. And it's just like the second that they open up, it changes everything, man.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good word of wisdom, man. So I appreciate you, brother. I want to give a big shout out to Samsung. I'm going to make sure I don't mess this up again. We're in the Samsung 837 space in Meatpacking in New York City. Phenomenal space. So blessed to be in this podcast space. So cheers to you guys. You can follow Samsung on Instagram at Samsung Mobile USA, on Facebook at Samsung US, and on Twitter at Samsung Mobile US, # Team Galaxy Squad, # Samsung Experience. And you guys know you can always follow me at Nick Pags Fit. But I appreciate you for being on the show today, brother.
Man.
That was awesome.
Love it.
Wishing you the best of luck in your health.
Thanks, man.
And guys, please reach out to this man. He has some awesome wisdom. And again, he's going through this right now. So to have someone reach out and just be in support, ask questions, give him, maybe advice if you've been through a similar thing, I'm sure you would appreciate all that.
I try to get back to everyone I can.
So. Yeah, he's answering a lot, so bear with him. But, Beau, love you, brother. Thanks for being on.
Thanks.
We'll see you all next time on the next episode. Peace. Yo, fam, I want to acknowledge you today for taking leaps and bounds towards a more epic life. Your support and attention is so greatly appreciated, and I never take it for granted. Thank you so much for listening. I would love if you would continue to be a part of the Nick Pags Fit fam, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all on the next episode.